The difference is $1,622,114. And that is the gap, that's the override number. That's not to add anything. That's not adding staff, that's not adding program, that's to retain what we have for this year and do it again next year. Every single position that we're looking at for next year, if the override were to fail, impacts a student's experience in the Abington Public Schools. We don't have any extra positions. We have 330 plus employees, and that's where the cuts would come from. We need instructional materials. We need to heat our buildings. We need to pay our people. We need to provide transportation. So the cuts come from people. That's where the challenges are. We anticipate all students in grades 5 through 12 will have a minimum of one learning center, or as we used to call in the olden days, a study hall. So every student will have at least one block in their day that there's not a course for them to take. In total, that is a 28.1 full-time equivalents. So you heard in the list there are a number of 0.2s and 0.6s. Some of those are combined to make a full person, and others were able to reduce some portion of the job, but it's 6.7 elementary teachers, 8.4 secondary teachers, 11 support staff, paraprofessionals, tutors, and specialized tutors, and 2 support personnel, an administrative assistant, and a custodian. Out of the 28.1, we have 7 that through attrition, we will be able to not have to lay someone off or pay unemployment for them. So our total people that are impacted, minus, for example, the retirees, are 21.1 people.
Wow.
Our secondary students absolutely are asking questions. I was asked recently if I would be willing to meet with students, and I said I absolutely would be happy to meet with students and talk about the impact. I can't tell them how to vote, but I can tell them what the impact is. There's, people have their favorite teachers, and it's not a secret what positions are being cut, and there's some positions that there's only 1 of, or there's only 3 of. So people do, it's not being broadcast what teachers are being cut, but students figure it out, and in some of their favorite classes, if you're very into computer science, for example, or you like the science electives and you know that next year some of those aren't going to be available, that impacts our students. And there's no doubt that if the override is to fail and we have to cut 28.1 positions, that the students will feel it next year for sure.